get started? Let's do it. Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is exactly what is a badge. I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding or different context of what a badge is, and so I want to give my own definition. I want to do that using two All-American heroes. The first All-American hero that I want to use is the Boy Scouts of America. Oftentimes when we hear the word badge, we think of these guys. And the point that I want to make is that a badge is a visual representation of an achievement. As you can see from his manly sash there, he's achieved a whole lot of stuff. Okay? The second All-American hero that I want to point out is our armed forces, specifically the Purple Heart. And what I want to point out here is that the badge itself is just metal and ribbon, but there's a lot of meaning that's associated with this badge. And so if we kind of take both the first and the second, we get my definition of a badge, and that is this. A badge is a visual representation of an achievement that is worth only the meaning that is associated to it. And so that might still be a little bit nebulous, and therefore I want to go ahead and give you one final example. This here is a badge. It's a visual representation of an achievement. She is an honor student. And it also has meaning associated to it. In this case, her parents are awful, and they put this bumper sticker on their car. There's other meaning too, but that's kind of the gist of it, okay? So you might be a little bit confused. Where are we going with this one? What does this have to do with credentialing? What does this have to do with what we do day in and day out? And I think what I'm trying to get at is that what we do is badging, okay? We offer certain things on a daily basis like this, right? A certificate of achievement. We give them a visual representation of what they have achieved, and there's meaning associated to it. We can take it out into the market, and there's value there. So a credential is a badge. That would be point number one, okay? But the problem with this is that it's paper. People don't like paper. I don't like carrying around paper. I don't carry around my diploma, assuming that I do have one, with me everywhere I go, okay? And so, thanks to a little invention by a gentleman right here, people don't want paper anymore, right? They want digital. They want to be able to take their records with them wherever they go, whenever. And there's implications to this, okay? So if people are expecting digital, if you look at an industry where this has already started to take place, where we've taken paper-based records and made them digital, there's a second expectation that starts to set in. And that is this, that when you take something that's digital, freely available, easy to share, people now expect that they should be able to own it. Not only are they expecting that it's digital, but they say, that's mine. I don't want to go to a clearinghouse. I don't want to go to your credentialing body. I want to be able to own this specific piece of paper, okay? Or this credential in this case. So, Mozilla has put together a nice little infrastructure that can allow all three of these things to be a reality. But that's really, really nerdy, right? I don't get what's going on here. There's like badging, and there's digital, and there's lines. I don't do lines, mostly nerds do. And so, I think we have to understand exactly what Mozilla proposes, and that is something like this, a visual representation, right? A digital image file that has a bunch of metadata kind of injected into it. Remember our definition? There's meaning associated with it. Badge name, criteria, evidence, date issued, all kinds of things of that nature. And if you look at what we offer, if we go back to this certificate, we kind of have all of this metadata already established within the credentials that we're offering on a daily basis. And so what I would like to make the case is that we within the credentialing organizations have the ability to adopt this spec. We have the ability to give digital records, digital badges out, and it can still adhere to all the criteria which we're using today. Now, this might still be a little bit nebulous, we might still be missing some things with it, so I want to use an example, okay? This is Maria, and Maria is a social worker. And she's gone through a lot of what social work would do, and that's kind of formal education. And then she wanted to take her skill set to the next level, and so she obviously worked with some individuals like us, right? She would go ahead and she would get a license so that she could be a social worker. And you can see there, it's pretty cool. It shows up as a badge, right? Nothing special. But I think if we just stopped there, we'd be kind of missing the point of what badges are. And that's this, that only shows a snapshot of Maria. Thanks to badges and the infrastructure that they offer, not only can I represent her license, I can represent her education, her continuing education, volunteering, work experience, perhaps even participation in certain events. Now I have a much better image of who Maria is. So we're going to kind of break this all down. What have we covered? Number one, credentials are badges. Number two, they're expected to be digital and owned by individuals, and that achievements are very diverse, and all of those can be represented using Mozilla's Open Badges standard. Last but not least, if I bored you, the last thing I want to point out is that Harvard Business Review called this one of four 4 innovations to watch over this next year. So if I haven't convinced you enough, I recommend that you go and read that article, and maybe they can do a better job of justifying it.